Hello everyone. This is the Androphile MGTOW, Raise a Gay Candy. I've been following the men's movement, and the arguments surrounding it, change and evolve for the last few months. Especially since the release of the Red Pill movie, which I think made men's issues more mainstream. Of course, with the enlargement of the movement, the arguments in it, and against it change. Since the alt-right movement gained momentum, I have seen many anti-feminists advocate for the return to traditional gender roles for men and women. And this is happening in parts of the men's movement too. Unfortunately for them, this is not an option. Here is why. Unless society is willing to lock both genders into a rigid role, traditionalism won't even remotely work. Currently women can play both ends to their benefit, being a strong independent woman, and being a stay-at-home mother. Only men are locked into their gender role, protector and provider. The problem with this is, men are beholden to standards that are considered blatant discrimination and misogyny, if they were applied to women. I hear a lot of conservative people say, well, women also fulfill their gender role, so it is right that men are still liable for alimony, even when women have access to jobs. Are women bound to their gender role in the way men are? Let's see. Even very conservative people are not advocating for women to be registered for impregnation against their will. On the feminist side we have, their body, their choice. While I agree with this, I don't see why men are not given the same choice when it comes to their bodies, namely, every 18-year-old male has to register for the selective service in the United States. Many advanced European countries like Finland, Austria, Switzerland, Denmark, still conscript men, and men only into their military every year. In fact, I would like you to listen to Fred Hayward from the Red Pill movie illustrating that point even better.
Each of us has traditional sex roles. Don't force us to carry out those traditional sex roles. And for men, the traditional sex role was not raising children. For us, the traditional sex role was to be a provider, a protector, and to initiate relationships. And we do have issues. We're for, like, being a protector. If we're not willing to spend 2 years of our life being a protector, we're thrown in jail. That's what the draft is all about. So imagine that the president said, the professional armed forces, clearly can protect our country. It's done very well, and Soviet Union is no longer a threat. Nation states are not so much of a threat anymore. So we can eliminate the draft, but what's really serious for our society is that children don't have adequate daycare. There's a lot of working parents who can't afford good daycare or preschools. I want to set up a nationwide system of good daycare centers and preschools, free, available to, and so the liberal mindset would say, this is fantastic. This is the best news. You're going to eliminate lower the military. So, and then the president goes on and says, so therefore, at the age of 18, every girl has to sign up to work for 2 years in a daycare center or a preschool, or we'll throw her in jail. That's what the draft is. It's serious. That would be the most outrageous. That would be considered the most outrageous thing. That would be the number one priority of the equal rights movement, the so-called equal rights movement, would be to fight something like that. But people don't talk about that.
If women's natural gender role is to take care of infants and small children, why are we not mandating that from them by threat of imprisonment? Because that would be considered a gross infringement on their human rights. Then why do we force young men into involuntary military service? Because male disposability has been normalized by society, and no movement is big enough yet to challenge it. Things seem to be changing, although very slowly. The point is, we can't have exemptions from responsibilities for one gender and enforcement of responsibilities for the other. The gynocentric inflation of women trickles down to everything else in regards to legal rights. This is why domestic violence is portrayed as a gendered problem, male victims of female rape are not recognized by the law, etc. This is also the reason why the Me Too campaign has taken off the way it has. If conservatives and some traditionalist men's advocates are praising women for their valuable sexuality, they should have no problem with women using it against men, by false accusations. After all, female sexuality is infinitely more valuable than men's, right? Wrong. Women's privileged position is an unnatural state because it requires the sacrificial shoulders of men to hold it up. The time of imprisoning only men in gender roles is coming to an end.